I got tipped off last week by a very reliable source about something that happened in Houston a few months ago. The Houston Rockets were talking to James Harden, thinking about bringing him back after Ime Udoka was brought there. James Harden actually talked, this is what I'm told. I haven't confirmed it with James Harden. This is what I was told. He actually talked himself out of a max deal because he went in there talking about how he wanted to return to being that scoring champion. And Ime Udoka and them were like, nah, we ain't trying to have that here. We building something a little bit different. Had he come in there and said the right things,
They would have given the max contract.
they would have gave him a max 4-year deal. He talked himself out of his own max deal.
Okay, that clip comes courtesy of ESPN, Stephen A. Smith. Apparently, allegedly, Stephen A. Smith got tipped off by someone, I guess, that's inside the Houston Rockets organization. It seems like Ime Udoka and the owner of the Houston Rockets were trying to agree to a contract in principle for James Harden that was willing to offer James Harden a max contract. So those reports were actually true. Those rumors were actually true that the Houston Rockets were interested in him and they was willing to go as far as giving him a 4-year max contract. But it seemed like James Harden fumbled the ball, really fumbled the bag. After in negotiations, he, pretty much destroyed a possibility of him returning to Houston because he announced to Ime Udoka as well as the rest of the organization of the Houston Rockets that one of his ambitions was try to get the scoring title. And let me tell you something. Ime Udoka said, nah, fam. Nah, we ain't doing that here. We're not going to just move everyone to the side while you just throw up 30 to 40 to 50 shots to get the scoring title. All right. They said it's been real. It's been fun. It hasn't been real fun. And they exit stage immediately on that 4-year max contract. And this just goes to show James Harden is just fumbling his bag everywhere he goes. He's fumbling his bag trying to get out of Philly. He's fumbling his bag to even try to get traded out of Philly by basically saying that the general manager is a liar. This is the same guy that worked with James Harden in Houston, and now he's saying that you can't trust a word what he's saying. Well, you can't trust a word that's coming out of his mouth. And James Harden, I don't see him leaving Philly anytime soon. Now, he took to social media saying that, I'm not going to be there on media day. I don't know if somebody in his inner circle or his agent got to him and said, hey, yo, fam, that's a bad play if you do not report to media day. This is not going to look well as far as other teams interested in you for a trade. Now, the rumors are still out there. There's a possibility that he can go to the Los Angeles Clippers. And I feel like that's the only play, that's the only move, because if you look around the association, organizations are doing one or two things. They already got their max contract players, their 2 max contract players, and they're just adding on top of it. And then on the second half of the organization, you got organizations that have been, gathering up assets as far as trade picks, executing on those trade picks like Sam Presti with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now they're going to start their dynasty with the youth that they have picked up thus far. And James Harden is in a rock and a hard place. James Harden is getting older. He's not getting younger. He's not hard. The injuries are coming at an alarming rate. James Harden is not the same dominant player he was when he first went to Houston. He's not even a somewhat dominant player when he demanded a trade to go to the Brooklyn Nets. This is a shell of James Harden, and there's no buyers interested in as far as a trade package for James Harden. There's not a team out there that's going to just give you whatever you want for James Harden. I think the best offer, it still stands with the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't know why the Los Angeles Clippers are interested in James Harden. This is not going to make the Los Angeles Clippers any better. They have to give up assets and draft picks just to even entertain a proposal as far as getting James Harden to La La Land. But if you look at if he happens to get traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, when you look at that and you look at that fit and you look at Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden, you have three players that desperately seeking Susan needs the ball. Now, out of those three players, maybe Kawhi Leonard can play around without the ball and still be able to be a contributor as far as scoring. Kawhi Leonard can do other things than just score. I get that. But even Kawhi Leonard, he's not getting any younger. He's getting older. The injuries are ramping up with him. And now with this new CBA rule talking about you can't rest players, life is gonna be difficult for the likes of Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James. But that's neither here nor there. That's another time for another topic. But still, Kawhi Leonard can do other things. He can do other things for your organization other than just score. I get that. Paul George, I could see how, he could probably play without the ball and still be somewhat of a scorer. Paul George, can do other things, but can he do other things at an elite level? That's a different time, and that's a different story. James Harden, all he can do is score. So it's not like if you trade for James Harden and he goes to the Los Angeles Clippers, you can just say, okay, James Harden can do this. He can do assists and get rebounds and defend the best player. He can't. All James Harden can literally do is simply just score. And when he's not scoring, he's not effective for your team. I still don't even if they somehow get this deal done, I still don't put the Clippers as one of the best teams in the West. Now they're in the mid section if they do get James Harden. I think they're in the mid section without James Harden. When you got the Sacramento Kings, they're doing their thing. They're getting better and they're getting younger. When you look at the Denver Nuggets, they still got their two-star players. When you look at the Golden State Warriors, they're trying to revamp and they're keeping their max contract players as well as adding Chris Paul. Chris Paul adds a different dimension to the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Golden State Warriors have problems as far as how you're going to keep Chris Paul and Draymond Green. How you going to keep them on the court at the same time? But those are small problems considering what the Clippers are doing. When you look at the Rockets, they're contending. They're a young team. Ime Udoka is going to make that young team fly. When you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, as young as they are, they're still talented and they can compete as well for the regular season. It's just so many teams in the West the Clippers have to leapfrog. And by them just even acknowledging that they were interested in James Harden, it just clearly tells they have no faith in the roster. They are willing to try to upgrade this roster somehow, some way. And they feel like just throwing money at the roster is going to make it better. Adding James Harden is not going to make the Clippers better. I'm sorry, it won't. Adding James Harden, he's not the missing link and the key to them getting a title. I think at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Clippers, they're going to have to label these past couple of years as disasters. They maxed out Paul George, they maxed out Kawhi Leonard, and they was expecting a title, no title. Okay, so with James Harden, he's just stuck. He's stuck like Chuck. There's no market for James Harden. No one is saying that James Harden is the key piece. I'll be honest with you. James Harden is we're probably seeing the last years of James Harden. If they're lucky, before the trade deadline, they can possibly trade James Harden somewhere, but it's going to be at a loss. They're not going to get any type of value for James Harden, and they meaning the Philadelphia 76ers. And once they trade James Harden, you might as well start clicking in the timer when Joel Embiid wants to be demanded and traded away from the Philadelphia 76ers. The trust the process movement, it's proven to be a disaster. They didn't win any titles with Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. They didn't even sniff a title with James Harden and Joel Embiid. And I just don't see them winning a title with just Joel Embiid. They're going to need someone else on that roster. But hey, it is what it is. Sometimes it's a good plan, but it's only a good plan when it's effective. And the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as the Los Angeles Clippers, I can just name other teams, but just those two teams. They put all their eggs in one basket, with one direction, and it's proven to be a failure. So, guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. Deuces.